Inside an embedded system, the CPU needs to talk to its peripherals as fast as possible. A parallel bus provides the most direct path, using 8 separate lines to send a full byte of data at once. But those physical wires consume significant board space and increase manufacturing complexity. Moving to serial communication reduces the wire count by sending bits one after another. However, to keep the sender and receiver in sync, you typically need to add another wire for a clock signal to coordinate the timing. The ultimate engineering challenge is to minimize hardware even further, to find a way for 2 devices to communicate reliably without a shared clock wire. This is where UART comes in. It stands for Universal Asynchronous Receiver-Transmitter, and it exists as a dedicated physical hardware circuit integrated directly into the silicon of a microcontroller or a standalone chip. Because the connection is asynchronous, it only requires 3 physical pins to link 2 devices: transmit, receive, and a shared ground. Removing the clock wire doesn't eliminate the need for synchronization. It simply shifts the burden from the physical hardware to a strict set of pre-configured logical rules. Every transmission begins inside the sending UART. The CPU loads parallel data into a component called a shift register, where it sits ready for deployment. The shift register then converts that data into a serial stream. It uses a non-return-to-zero format, representing ones and zeros by holding the line at high or low voltage levels for a precise amount of time. Since there is no clock wire to govern the timing, both devices must be configured to the same baud rate. This represents the number of bits sent per second, and if the 2 sides don't match, the data becomes unreadable noise. To achieve this speed, the hardware uses a clock divider or prescaler. It takes the high-speed internal system clock of the device and mathematically divides it down to reach the specific frequency required for the baud rate. But even at the correct speed, the receiving device has no way of knowing when a transmission is actually starting. A shared speed is useless if the receiver doesn't know where the boundaries of the data are. To solve this, UART uses a data frame, a specific logical structure that acts as a protective envelope for the raw data. This diagram shows the idle state of the line. When no data is moving, the transmitting UART holds the voltage at a continuous high level. To signal the start of a transfer, the transmitter pulls the line low for exactly 1 clock cycle. This start bit acts as the trigger that wakes up the receiving UART. Once the receiver is active, the transmitter sends the payload, typically 8 data bits, represented by high and low pulses that correspond to the binary data being transferred. An optional parity bit can follow the data. It serves as a basic error-checking tool, allowing the receiver to detect if electrical noise caused a single bit to flip during the journey. The frame concludes with a stop bit. The transmitter pulls the line back to a high voltage, signaling that the packet is complete and returning the line to its idle state. The receiving UART's shift register collects these pulses, reconstructs the original parallel data, and passes it along to the CPU. By utilizing this rigid frame structure, the data itself provides the necessary timing information, effectively replacing the need for a physical clock wire. UART wasn't designed for the massive throughput of modern USB or Ethernet. Instead, it prioritizes simple implementation and low cost, making it ideal for lower-speed applications. It was the primary interface for early telecommunications, allowing digital devices to communicate over analog systems through modems. Today, this logic supports industrial standards like RS-232. By adding level converters to the simple UART signal, engineers can send data over much longer distances in electrically noisy environments. Because of its minimal requirements, it remains the standard method for basic device-to-device communication in almost every modern microcontroller. The protocol succeeds because it requires so little from the hardware. By enforcing a strict set of logical rules, engineers can strip the physical architecture down to the essentials while maintaining a reliable connection.